Good morning. We'll go ahead and call this meeting to order. Do I have an approval on the agenda?
I would make a motion to amend the agenda by tabling item number 7 until May 13th. As we're waiting for some additional information concerning that item. And to remove item 8 as we are already under contract with that service.
Okay,
I'll second that.
any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. So the agenda is approved with the changes. Betty, will you read the minutes from our last meeting, please?
April 29th, 2024. Chairman Hugable called the regular meeting of the Wright County Board of Supervisors to order at 9 a.m. Members present were Cluse, Rasmussen, and Hugable. Motion by Rasmussen, seconded by Cluse to approve the tentative agenda with removing the time of the work session from 11 a.m. to following the board meeting. Motion carries. Minutes of the previous regular meeting of April 22nd, 2024 were read and approved with one correction. Approved claims for payment. Motion by Cluse, seconded by Rasmussen to approve to pay half of the registration fee and mileage reimbursement for Katie Schlichting to attend medical examiner investigator training in Ankeny. Motion carries. Hamilton County will pay the other half. Motion by Rasmussen and seconded by Cluse to approve the liquor license ownership for Claremont Country Club. Motion carries. Brian Jensen will be listed as president and Roseanne Balmer listed as contact person. Motion by Rasmussen, seconded by Cluse to approve the 6 fireworks permits for 4G pyrotechnics. Motion carries. Motion by Cluse, seconded by Rasmussen to open the public hearing at 9:15 a.m. for the budget amendment to the fiscal year 2024 Wright County budget. Motion carries. There were no written or verbal comments. Motion by Rasmussen, seconded by Cluse to close the public hearing at 9:16 a.m. Motion carries. Motion by Cluse, seconded by Rasmussen to approve resolution 2024-16, the 2023-24 budget amendment number 1. By roll call vote, ayes, Cluse, Rasmussen, and Helgebold, nays none. Resolution 2024-16 duly passes and reads as follows. And there you can see the full amendment resolution. It has written. Jeremy Abbas, Planning and Zoning Coordinator, presented the recommendation to adopt ordinance number 68, Wright County Floodplain Management, to repeal and replace ordinance number 47, which was completed in 2013. This is a mandated ordinance that needs updated in order to be part of the national program. Motion by Cluse, seconded by Rasmussen to approve the first reading of ordinance number 68 and set the second reading for May 6, 2024. By roll call vote, ayes, Cluse, Rasmussen, and Helgebold, nays none. The first reading of ordinance number 68 passes. Adam Clemens, Wright County Engineer, gave an update on the secondary roads. There were 8 work orders completed last week. 2 of the work orders were special projects working with different size rock, 3/4 inch and 1 inch. All road personnel completed 8 hours of MSHA training that is needed to enter rock quarries when mining. This is something that is required every year. The beams for the C-70 bridge will arrive on Thursday and will be set if there is no rain and lightning. Rasmussen read a thank you letter from Upper Des Moines Opportunities for the board's fiscal year contribution. Rasmussen received a call from Humboldt County that they are needing assistance with their environmental health department. Sandy McGrath, environmental health director, mentioned that she assisted them in the past as well. McGrath will invoice Humboldt County for her time and mileage, and Humboldt County will reimburse Wright County. Rasmussen and McGrath will sit down and discuss the details. Motion by Rasmussen, seconded by Cluse to adjourn the meeting. Motion carries.
Any additions or corrections? Now they will stand as read.
One update is that on the registration for Katie Schlichting for the medical examiner investigator. There was a grant through iowa.gov for paying for the training and mileage, and it's up to $800.
Excellent.
So last week I applied for that, so we'll see, maybe we'll get a grant to pay for all of it.
Okay.
Wonderful. Claims have been around. Open forum for public. Anybody online or here in the boardroom like to discuss anything? All right. Yep.
Renewable project south of town, is that going yet?
Renutrients?
Yeah,
No, sir.
No, they're still, yeah, they're still plugging away. I know they were retooling for some things. That Daryl Stevens probably has the most up-to-date information on that.
I heard they're supposed to be going in April. One reason I keep asking is, I don't know how they gave loan any money and you're not getting the payment back.
No,
Yeah.
they're current on all their
Yeah, they are.
taxes and.
Correct.
Yep.
They're current on their taxes and on their, the development agreement in which they pay, for a portion of that road that we paved to go down to Renutrients. And they are all up to date on that.
Okay, good. Thank you. Thank you.
Anything else?
One other thing on the claims, if you look at the sheet with the percentages used to date.
Mhm.
After the budget amendment was done, you can see that that's fixed of your percentages.
So we're back
Yep.
under 100 on the one.
There was two of them that were over.
Yep, so,
Okay.
and from here on out to June 30th, we gotta watch this.
Okay, item 6, Jeremy Abbas, review and act on second reading ordinance 68, an amendment of floodplain. I think we did the first reading last week.
I would make,
Second one?
I would make a motion to approve the second reading of ordinance number 68, which repeals and replaces ordinance number 47.
Second.
Any further discussion? Rick, how do you vote?
Aye.
Dean?
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion carries. Okay, moving down to item number 9, receive monthly revenue report from the Wright County Sheriff. County car service miles, $1,697.88. County new and renew weapons permit, $220, copy fees, $94, for a total of $2,011.88.
Motion to receive.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Receive and act on liquor license for Belmont Area Arts Council pending grant. Is that a festival that they're in?
This is the second year, I think, that they've had the dram, right? I mean, had the alcohol served.
Yeah, they're serving alcohol at the,
Oh, the power
Parade-
show.
Power
That's right.
Show,
Okay.
yes.
Yep.
And then also, late on Friday, it came through that the dram is done now, so this is
Excellent.
no longer pending dram.
Okay, is
Okay,
Motion to approve.
there a second?
second.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Adam Clemens. Secondary roads report and amendment number 1 to Iowa DOT secondary roads budget.
Yep, so last week you guys approved the county amendment to the budget. I'm gonna be looking at this paper right here. So what this is doing is I try to keep the two budget the same, so that we don't have any differential in percentages. So it's reflecting what I submitted for last week, which was a $11,000 to almost $12,000 change in engineering for consultant fees. Bridges and culverts, we went, so we had rollover costs from last year, because our culverts didn't come in time.
Yep.
So added 161,000 to that. Snow and ice, we had a great year for snow and ice, so negative 87,500 for that. Traffic controls, haven't had to do much in traffic controls, you guys have been staying on top of the signs. And whatnot, so negative 159 for that. Road clearing, because we didn't have a lot of snow, we did a lot of brush cutting, so added 208,000 to that. Equipment operations added 50,000 for fuel, parts and sundry. We did have one transmission change, so we had to pay for that. And then the negative 11,000 or almost 12,000 in construction, because we didn't have to buy any right away. That's where we're at with that. No changes in revenue. Revenues.
I would make a motion to approve amendment number 1 to the fiscal year 2024 Iowa DOT secondary roads budget.
Would second that.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
For signature.
Do you have any flooding over the weekend or?
We haven't yet.
I see Humboldt County's got a mess,
Do they?
We haven't.
mainly because of Algona.
I got a lot of rain up there.
Yeah. Yep. So quick update, blades are out blading their districts. Trucks are still hauling the, engineer miles. They finished up with the engineer miles. So we're done with that. We're on to the 2024 scheduled rock and any spot rocks, or 6 out of 90 segments done in the, scheduled rock. 11 work orders were completed. Last week we switched to our 410s. So just let everybody know we're on our 410s now. And then just a little update on what our weather was last week. We had some light rain and probably missed out on a couple days of blading, so.
Gotcha.
And your tens are, from when to when?
6 to, you mean the hours?
Hours, yes.
6 to 4:30.
6 to 4:30.
Yeah,
Okay.
engineer's office is 6:30 to 4:30, so.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, that's all I have, thanks.
Any old business or update on meetings, gentlemen?
Amanda was gonna give us a.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew business, yeah.
So this was prior to people moving out. CICS used to bill out everything for this and they've since moved. So Lisa Leanhart has sent me the spreadsheet to do. Looking at this, I mean, you only have building families, Veterans Affairs, DHS, and then you have to provide space for juvenile court. So I included the back side, the last 3 pages kind of shows their spreadsheets of what they would get if I build this out. VA, like Betty said, comes out of general basic, so
It's kind
that's
of
kind
a
of
wash.
a wash. If you don't wanna do that one, or just do a set amount. Building families. I don't know how often they're there anymore, but their rent is $300. And they also pay for okay, let's look at this. They pay for stuff that is in, white. So anything in orange, they don't, so they pay for very minimal, they don't have a fax number anywhere.
Okay.
The server is done, the copier is, I think it's gonna be public health. It's gonna be over there. Credit is quarterly.
Well, I think with, now that public health's gonna be moving over there, you think you maybe just go ahead and make where public health has control of the building, and then any income coming in goes to public health covers the bills, that way we're not billing back and forth, it's like the VA, it's just a.
I
all
think
it
in
is
order to
taking-
do that, though, we're gonna have to change the leases, because I think the leases all say that they pay the auditor's office.
Which I can still pay the auditor's office, it
So
just,
I would recommend just doing a set amount.
yeah,
Not billing this every time.
because there's no reason to bill for like copies and stuff like that, we can maybe just adjust it.
The VA has her own copier.
Okay,
She pays for,
Court has their own copy.
Yeah.
yeah, she doesn't have anything. We just have to provide her space.
is that,
And she,
do you see that that's a workable solution?
yeah, it makes better sense.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
just
It
whatever.
just cleans it up.
If you do rent, just keep in mind that you know,
Yeah.
make that according to not splitting everything out.
Right.
So do we need, when I get with Eric on building families new lease, do we need to up that, or?
Do they
They're going
use
to
many?
the basement.
Yeah, they go into the basement. I don't think
I don't
they
think
did
so.
much service. I think we can just keep
Yeah.
it at that, because the
Keep
rest
it-
of the little things were just so minor.
Just keep it at 300, okay.
Yep.
I don't know if VA is general basic.
Yeah, and VA is just, it's just money going in, money going out,
Yeah.
the same account, so. And then Courtney with juvenile, we have to provide space there. She has all of her supplies, so.
DHS does get billed,
Who does?
DHS. And
Because we do get reimbursement through the state from them.
So I don't know if you wanna do just a set amount or, I don't know.
We'll
Let
have,
it break out.
Kind of look at the last, maybe what their
So they're-
copy and stuff was last
Their
year.
bills on the last page is
It
there.
doesn't have rent or just all the other pieces. If
It's
they
like
make,
pieces.
I'll bet you that they have to be split out, they don't do rent, so just do like a portion of it, you know, see them figure it out that way.
6.7%.
Ah, okay.
I think,
That's designated in the lease?
I don't know about the lease. no.
Okay.
It was,
I-
a lot of these figures were when CICS was there and CSS, they had to document pieces. So
Right.
that's why it was done that way, but I think now that it can be done a lot more simple. I don't think there's a reason to, count every fax or every copy at this point, because it really, the time involved to do it's not worth the.
So when you talk about having it all go through public health, the custodial is coming out of general basic, out of the resource fund, general basic fund resource building, yeah, Department 50.
Right.
So I don't know that the revenue should just go back to,
Cause it's technically the resource center.
because
Right.
everything that gets,
Yeah, because
One
they're
more
not
time,
paying, they're not paying the janitorial.
all of these items here are paid out of Department 50.
Okay.
Show me what you're showing him.
All of these items here
Yeah,
are being paid out of Department 50 General Basic Fund.
okay,
And so what Carl was saying is that we'll just give the revenues to public health. Well, public health is not paying
Not
the
pay for this, so
expenses.
really those revenues really should be put back to offset the janitorial stuff, because that's not part of the public health account.
It's not the public health building, it's a
Right,
resource.
it's resource building.
agreed, but at some point when public health moves over there, we shouldn't have the janitorial services requirement that we currently have on the public health building, correct? Or,
Currently, I budget janitorial for that building.
Supplies.
Yeah, the.
Not salaries and
Salaries,
benefits.
it's out of B&G, yeah, it's
And
51.
any, or like,
Okay.
$10,000 on building repair. So there's incidental, there's probably
Right.
15,000.
But the salary of the janitor.
It still comes out all of general, it's a matter if it's earmarked public health or the resource center, I mean.
Well, there's a public health basic,
Right.
I mean, they're not out of general basic.
Public health is its own fund.
Right. Out of the general basic though, I mean, it's general basic dollars, isn't it?
We fund it with 250,000, or I guess they
Right.
pretty much funding themselves except for supplemental, all their benefits and stuff is paid out supplemental.
Okay.
And when we fund that,
Staffing,
it's we fund them approximately $300,000 a year to keep public health going.
and that's out of the special, that's the supplemental.
Supplemental
or
and
staff.
50,000, yeah.
so again, I mean, we gotta pay the power over there anyway, whether public health is there or not. When public health goes there, it seems like that should just, I mean, we're gonna still continue to pay that power,
Mhm.
right? And so your point was that,
For janitorial
You
is,
could, okay, there's two ways of looking at it. Do you want all of these expenses to be paid out of public health? Or do you want all of these expenses to be paid out of the Department 50 resource building?
we don't have a lot of tenants in the resource building anymore, it's gonna be mainly public health. What would you advise? You're the auditor, do you think it's
Mhm.
better to clean it up all under one, or do you wanna keep them separate?
It's just, I think, the salary and benefits. You'll just be transferring more money to public health. You could just keep building expense the way it is, and then, which will help her budget with our transfers, because she won't have as much expenses.
Okay.
And then you'll know exactly what the cost
Cost
of
of building is.
maintaining that building would be.
right,
Now,
And-
the shredding, I think that,
We already paid shredders.
yeah, so
That's not gonna be a big problem.
there's a certain items, like the Culligan. You'll still use, will you use Culligan and shred it?
yeah,
And office supplies will be hers, so I would
And then if
say
DA needs office supplies, she just orders it out of.
her own,
Her own budget.
yeah.
I think building families
This-
pays for their own.
And Courtney does her own, yeah.
Mhm.
And then I don't know, like water and electricity. Do you want that as public health, or do you want that as just the building expense?
I would say just the
Building
building
expense,
expense,
yeah.
yeah.
That way we can track the expense of the building too.
And the copier will be,
Public health.
yeah,
But we need
So-
to keep the, 50 fund, I mean, if we were to have something that we need to replace or something that we need to fix, it's important to have that to track it to that building.
Yep, that way it's not a public health expense, it's the
Right.
building expense, so we
Right.
keep it too, yep.
So there'll be 4 items, the copier, the color gun shredded, and office supplies will all,
All the internet.
And that'll go to you, and then the main
the
building
internet.
structure will be.
5 items.
Okay,
Yeah,
yep. Got it.
okay, cool, cleans it up a little bit.
So we should definitely look at those leases and see what they say and to make sure that they're up to date and they make sense to this.
Cause the lease amount should be okay, it's just that extra percentage of the copies and stuff like that, and then we can figure out what maybe over the last year, what they actually did, and maybe just revise it. You know, I don't think it's gonna amount to a lot of dollars.
You know,
The only copy was building family.
Right.
Now it would only be McKinley because Angela's under mine.
Oh, that's
They
right,
have Tiffany. though.
Tiffany, yeah.
Yeah.
okay. Okay. Any other questions on the professional bit or the resource time? Any meetings last week, gentlemen?
no,
no, but I've got one coming up Wednesday at Grettinger for Udmo.
I had DCAT last week. We're still waiting on funding. We're pretty much dwindling all of our dollars down. We are, Parent Connections did get 5.
good,
We continue that. Mental health in schools, we have enough to get by till June. We're gonna hold off and find out what dollars we get. And then we may do a new RFP because they're having such a hard time getting counselors through Berry Hill. And Berry Hill wants to make sure that they fulfill their contract, so they're hesitant. So that's kind of all up in the air, but it really depends on what kind of funding we get. And we're just sitting there waiting right now.
and they are gonna be funded through the new Department of Health and Human
Yeah, and
Services.
but juvenile may not be, or juvenile courts might not be, and that's one of the funders of DCAT, so that it's.
Yeah.
We'll know, hopefully, we've got another meeting scheduled the next couple of weeks just to update us, but right now, we're just kind of in a holding pattern on all that.
Yeah.
So,
And then, of course, we've got the informational meeting at Tri-Rent's facility over in Belmont.
so, yeah. I will be on Zoom next week. I've got my son's graduation from Boulder,
All right.
so. He's done, he was 4. So. With that, give a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
All right.
Motion carries. We're adjourned.
Did you work on the landfill lease?
Yes, I've got it.